Hey, hello guys, welcome to the another lecture series on electric charges and electric field. In this video we will continue our discussion from exercise question 1.15 onwards. Up till last video we discussed up to question number 1.14, and if you haven't watched the previous videos, I have made topic wise videos on this chapter. I will also leave the link in the description. You can also check it out. Alright, so let's get started. So the question number 1.15 says that consider a uniform electric field E 3 into 10 to the power of 3 I cap Newton per coulomb. What is the flux of this field through a square of 10 centimeter on a side whose plane is parallel to YZ plane? Okay, so basically they have given an electrical field along X directions. Okay, so let us say this is my X axis, this is my X axis, and that's my Y axis, and that's my Z axis. Okay, now they're saying that the electrical field is 3 into 10 to the power of 3 I cap. That means electrical field is along positive X direction. Okay, there is an electrical field everywhere along positive X direction. So how much is the electrical field? They have told it is 3 into 10 power 3 Newton per coulomb. Okay, and now the sub question A, they're asking what is the flux of this field through a square of side 10 centimeter on a side whose plane is parallel to YZ plane. So now we are going to consider a plane which is parallel to YZ. So this is my Y and Z. So parallel to YZ is a plane which I am considering now. Okay, so that is my plane parallel to YZ. Okay, so now they're asking how much is the flux through this plane. How much is the flux through this plane? So how much is the electrical field? I know it is given here. Okay, and now how much will be the area of this? Since they said it is a square of side 10 centimeter, area is going to be 10 centimeter the whole square, 10 centimeter into 10 centimeter, so which is 100 centimeter square. So 10 power minus 4 meter square, centimeter square. If you convert that into meter square, it will be 10 power minus 4 meter square. So that is going to be 10 power minus 2 meter square. So that is my area and this is my electric field. Now what is the flux formula? Electrical flux is E vector dot A vector, which is EA cos theta. Okay, EA cos theta. What will be theta in this case? Theta is the angle between area vector. Area is perpendicular to that, so area vector is to the right and electrical field is also to the right. So the angle between area vector and electrical field is 0. So what do we get? It is just E into A into cos 0 is 1, because theta is 0. So cos 0 is 1. So I know electrical field is 3 into 10 to the power of 3 and the area is 10 power minus 2. So my answer is going to be 30 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, electrical field into area, Newton per coulomb into meter square. So that is my electrical flux through this square side of 10 centimeter. Okay, so in sub question B is what is the flux through the same square if the normal to its plane makes an angle of 60 degree with the x-axis. Now let me draw the same diagram. Now they're asking in the sub question B, they're saying that theta is 60 degree. So how will the diagram look like? Something like this. You have electrical field along positive x direction. Okay, that is my x-axis and that is my y-axis and that is my z-axis. Okay, now the normal to this plane is making some angle. How much angle? Normal is making an angle of 60 degree with x-axis, it seems. So that means the plane is going to be something like this. It's inclined, right? So the normal drawn to this area is making an angle of 60 degree. So area vector is in this direction, right? That's your plane. Now it is slanted. Okay, so area vector is making an angle of 60 degree and the electrical field is still along positive x direction. So electrical field is E in this direction and this is my area vector. Okay, so now the flux will become what? It is EA cos theta. E is 3 into 10 power 3 and area is 10 power minus 2 cos 60, right? So cos 60 is 1 by 2. Okay, so 1 by 2, that means it will be 3 by 2 into 10 power 1, right? 10 power 3 into 10 power minus 2 is 10 power 1. So basically it is 1.5 into 10, so it is going to be 15 Newton meter square per coulomb. So that is the answer for the sub question B, half of whatever we have got earlier. Okay, all right, so that is the answer for the question number 1.15. Now let's move on to question number 1.16. It says that what is the net flux of the uniform electric field of exercise 1.15 through a cube of side 20 centimeter oriented so that its faces are parallel to the coordinate planes. Okay, so now they're asking how much will be the total flux through a cube. Obviously the total flux is going to be 0. Why? Because it is not enclosing any charge, right? Correct. Now because whatever flux enters, the same flux will leave. Let me show you that. See, we have, this is my y-axis, okay, and this is my x-axis, and that's my z-axis. Okay, now I'm going to consider a cube such that the sides are parallel to coordinate axis. So this is my one side of the cube, this is my another side. Now yeah, that's a cube. Now electrical flux is entering here, electrical field will enter this face. Okay, so electrical field is entering through that plane, and the same electrical field will leave from here, right? The same electrical field lines will leave from here. So there is no flux on the side surfaces, surfaces like this and this and the bottom and the other side. Like on this surface there is no flux because electrical field lines will be grazing the surfaces. Okay, so flux will be entering. If I say phi1 is the flux entering the front face and phi2 is the flux leaving the front the back face, then phi1 and phi2 both will be equal. Whatever flux enters, the same flux is leaving, right? So the net flux, how do we calculate the net flux? Flux leaving minus flux entering is the net flux. Okay, so flux leaving is E into A, flux leaving is E into A, flux entering is also E into A, and there is no flux on the side surfaces, so on the front and on the back surfaces, so there is a flux. Okay, but on the sides there is no flux. Okay, because electrical field lines are parallel to the area on the side. So net flux is always equals to flux leaving minus flux entering. Flux leaving is how much? E into A, right? Minus how much is the flux entering? That is also E into A, correct? So therefore the total flux through this cube is going to be 0. Total flux through this cube is going to be 0. Okay, so as simple as that. So, and also you should remember, this can be understood by using Gauss law because there is no charge that is present within this cube. So therefore the total flux has to be 0. No matter you keep this in an electrical field, wherever you keep, since this cube is not enclosing any charge, the net flux must be equal to 0 because the net flux through a closed surface is always equal to what? 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present within the closed surface. Since within this there are no charges, obviously the flux will be 0. Okay, so that's all is the answer. So now we will move on to they've told that it's a cube of side 20 centimeter. It doesn't matter whether it's 20 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 40 centimeter, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Okay, all right. So now question number 1.17. They are saying that careful measurement of the electric field at the surface of a black box indicates that the net outflux through the surface of the box is 8 into, the net flux is given as 8.0 into 10 power 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, so what is the net charge inside the box? So they're asking how much is the net charge. So I know that the net flux by Gauss law, the net flux is 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge. Okay, we already know this. So therefore the net charge is going to be epsilon naught times the net flux, right? So epsilon naught is what? 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into the net flux, which is 8 into 10 to the power of 3. Okay, right? So upon calculating, you will get it as 70.83 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb, right? So that is going to be the answer for the sub question A. Very simple. Now sub question B says if the net outflux through the surface of the box were 0, could you conclude that there were no charges inside the box? Why or why not? See, if the net flux is zero, does that mean that the surface is not enclosing any charge? No. Net flux zero does not mean that there are no charges inside the closed surface. For example, I can take a closed surface and put a dipole in it. Okay, plus q here, minus q here. Okay, plus q here, minus q here. It is a closed surface. Flux through this will be zero. Why? Because net charge is zero. Does that mean that it doesn't have any charge? No, it has a charge. It has positive charge. It has negative charge. Okay, it has positive and negative charge. But the net charge is becoming zero. It has a charge, but overall the net charge, when you add all the charges, that is becoming zero. That doesn't mean that it is not having any charge in it at all. It has a charge, but the net charge is becoming zero. That's what we should write. So here, no, flux, I can write like this. Net flux zero doesn't imply that there are no charges at all. There are no charges. It just means the net charge is zero. The net charge is zero. It just means that the net charge is zero. That is q net equal to zero. Okay? Q net is q1 plus q2 plus etc. Qn is equals to zero. Individual charges are there, but overall charge is becoming zero. That's all. Okay? Very simple question. And now we will move on to next question number 1.18. Similar to this question 1.18, we have already discussed that in the theory part. When we discussed Gauss law, after Gauss law, I have done exclusive video separately on problems on Gauss law. So you can go and watch that, because that will be really helpful. Varieties of problems we have solved on Gauss law. Okay, right. So this question is very similar to that. They are saying that a point charge 10 microcoulomb is at a distance of 5 cm directly above the center of the square of side 10 cm as shown in the figure. What is the magnitude of the electrical flux through the square? Okay, so they have given a square plane. They have given a square plane and the side is 10 cm. Side is 10 cm. Now at a height of 5 cm, you have kept a charge of how much? 10 microcoulomb. Okay, now they're asking how much is the flux through this face, this plane, square plane. Okay, now what you should do, it is very difficult to find out electrical field at every point and multiplying that with area, because at different points the electrical field is going to be different. So what we will do is we will visualize a cube. Okay, we will visualize a cube. We're going to attach more sides to it. Okay, to make it a cube, we are attaching these sides now. You can see that. More surfaces, in other words. Okay, we are attaching more surfaces to make it as a cube. Yes, now I made this as a cube. Okay, and now what is the distance of this 10 microcoulomb from each surfaces of the cube? 5 cm, because it is exactly at the center. No, now you can see that this 10 microcoulomb is exactly at the center of each exactly at the center of the cube, and it's at equidistance from each side or each surface of the cube. Okay, so therefore now I can use Gauss law. I can write the net flux must be equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present within the closed surface. But in this case the net flux is nothing but 6 times the flux through each surface. Why? Because this cube has how many surfaces? On the side you have 4 surfaces, right? And on the top one surface, bottom one surface. So totally 6 surfaces. So 6 times flux through each surface is 1 by epsilon naught times the charge present within it. How much is the charge that is present within it? 10 microcoulomb. 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6. Okay, right? So how much will be the flux now? Flux through each surface is gonna be 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by 6 times epsilon naught, right? So now if you calculate this, it will be 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by 6 into 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay, upon simplification we will get 0.1882 into 10 power 6 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, so that is going to be the flux through each surface. Similar to this, they can also ask, they will keep a charge at the corner of this cube. Somewhere here they will keep a charge, and they will ask you to find out how much is the total flux through the cube. Okay, so these kind of questions I've already solved in the theory when we discussed problems on Gauss law especially. I will also leave the link in the description, as I've already told. You can go and find it out there. Okay, right. So now we will move on to the next question. Question number 1.19. It says that 1.19 it says that a point charge 2 microcoulomb is at the center of a cubic Gaussian surface 9 centimeter on edge. Okay. So what is the net flux through the surface? All right. So point charge 2 microcoulomb is at the corner, it's at the center of the cubical Gaussian surface 9 centimeter on edge. So what is the net flux through the surface they're asking? So that's basically net flux through the cube is what they're asking. I know that net flux is directly 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present within the closed surface. Now they've told that this 2 microcoulomb is at the center. It doesn't matter the 2 microcoulomb whether it's at the center, somewhere on the side. Okay, and since it is present within the closed surface, it doesn't matter where it is located. Okay, so the total flux through all the surfaces, all the side surfaces and the top and bottom surface, everything put together will always be 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present in it. So this information that it is present at the center is of no use for us. Okay, because anyway the total flux will be 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present within the closed surface. So that's directly net charge is 2 microcoulomb, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by epsilon naught. Again, the side doesn't matter. They said it is 9 centimeter on edge. It doesn't matter whether it's a 9 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter, doesn't matter. So total flux through the entire cubical surface is going to be 1 by epsilon times the net charge present within it. Okay, so 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay, so upon simplification we get 0.225 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, so that is our answer. So now we'll move on to next question, question number 1.20. 1.20. It says that a point charge causes an electric flux of minus 1 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb to pass through a spherical Gaussian surface of 10 centimeter radius centered on the charge. Okay, so if the radius of the Gaussian surface were doubled, how much flux would pass through the surface? What is the value of point charge? See, let us first find out the value of point charge. So they have given the net flux is minus 1.0 into 10 power 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, so the point charge causes an electrical flux of this much to pass through a spherical Gaussian surface of 10 centimeter radius. Actually, we don't need that. I know that the net flux is equal to what, 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present with the net. Okay, now using this information I can easily find out how much is the net charge present within the closed surface. That is just going to be 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into just minus 10 power 3. That's it. Okay, 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 is minus 10 power 3. So what is the answer we're going to get? Minus 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb. That is the answer. That's the answer for the sub question B, right? So sub question B we found out first. I'll tell you the reason behind that. What is the value of the point charge? We got this. Now sub question A is what? Suppose if the radius is doubled. So initially this was the charge that was present. So let us say this was the Gaussian sphere or a sphere that we have initially. The radius is 10 centimeter. Now even if I make it as 20 centimeter radius, make a bigger sphere, 20 centimeter, even then how much is the total charge present? The same charge, minus 8.85 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb. So therefore the flux will remain the same, right? So it doesn't depend on the radius, it depends on how much charge is present within the closed surface. Since I'm not altering the charge present within the closed surface, the flux will remain the same. Okay, so the net flux is going to be, the net flux will be same as the initial flux, which is minus 1.0 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. That will be the flux. Flux never gets altered because flux depends on the total charge present within the closed surface. Okay, then you might think, array, flux is electrical field into area. Now surface area has increased, how are you saying that flux is not changing? Yeah, surface area has increased, but what has happened to the electrical field? Electrical field has decreased, no, because you are far from the charge. So electrical field has decreased, therefore area has increased such a way that the product of those two is remaining constant. Okay, all right, so now we'll move on to the next question. Question number question number 1.12. I'm sorry, 1.21. All right, so this says a conducting sphere of radius 10 centimeter has an unknown charge. Okay. If the electrical field 20 centimeters from the center of the sphere is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per coulomb and pointing radially inwards, what is the net charge on the sphere? Now we already know the expression for electrical field at a point due to a sphere carrying a charge. So let's say I have a sphere here of radius r, okay, and at a distance small r, from it, the electrical field is given by kq divided by small r square. If I say q is the charge present on this sphere, then the electrical field at a distance r, small r, from the center of the sphere is going to be kq by r square, just like electrical field due to a point charge. Okay. Now at a distance how much? At a distance of 20 centimeter from it, from the center, at a distance of 20 centimeter, this radius is 10 centimeter, it seems. Okay, at a distance of 20 centimeter from the center, that is outside the sphere, the electrical field is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per coulomb. That is the electrical field. Okay, and that is pointing radially inwards, it seems. So radially inwards means it's like that, it is pointing radially inwards. Okay, so if the electrical field is pointing radially inwards, it means what? It means the sphere is carrying a negative charge. When will electrical field be radially inwards? If the charge is a negative charge, then electrical field will be radially inwards. If the charge is positive charge, then the electrical field will be radially outwards. So it's very clear that the electrical field is radially inwards. They have given, that means the sphere should be carrying a negative charge. Now directly I can use kq by r square must be equal to electrical field. So therefore the charge q is going to be electrical field, which is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 into the radius is the distance where the electrical field 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per coulomb is 20 centimeter. So the distance r that I'm going to take here is 20 centimeter. So 20 centimeter is 20 into 10 to the power of minus 2, which is 0.2. Okay, 0.2 meters. So 0.2 meters when you square it, it's going to be let me write it as 0.2 square as it is, which is going to be 0.04. Okay, right, divided by k is what? K is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So that is your k value. So therefore the charge on the sphere is, this 1.5 will get cancelled with this 9. I can write it as 3 3s are 9, and this I can write it as 3 into 0.5. okay, and then it becomes 0.5 into 0.04 whole divided by 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6, because 10 power 9 will go to the numerator, 10 power 3 is already present in the numerator, so 10 power 3 minus 10 power 3 minus 9 is going to be 10 power minus 6. Alright, so upon simplification further we will get it as 0.00666, it keeps going like that, into 10 to the power of minus 6. And now I can write this as in scientific notation. If I want to write, I will write 6 and then put a decimal. 6 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb, which is 6.66 nanocoulomb. Okay, so I should be writing it as 6.67 because if I round it off up to 2 decimal places, it's going to be 6.67 Newton coulomb, nanocoulomb. 6.67 nanocoulomb is the charge that's going to be present on the sphere. Okay, so simple question. Suppose if they ask what is electrical field inside at a distance somewhere, let us say 5 centimeter, then the electrical field inside will be 0 because it's a conductor. Electrical field, the charges will reside only on the surface of the conductor, so electrical field inside a conductor is always 0. Suppose if they ask that, you should know. Okay, we also have drawn the graph of electrical field versus distance, all those things in the theory part. Again, you can go and watch those videos. Okay, all right, so now next question is 1.22. So it says that a uniformly charged conducting sphere of 2.4 meter diameter has a surface charge density 80 microcoulomb per meter square. Find the charge on the sphere and what is the total flux leaving the surface of the sphere. So now they have given surface charge density. How much is that? 80 microcoulomb per meter square. This is surface charge density. Surface charge density is what? Total charge divided by surface area. Charge per unit area is surface charge density. So now therefore charge present, total charge present on the surface can be written as sigma into A, right? Sigma is 80 into 10 to the power of minus 6 because it is 80 microcoulomb. And what is the surface area? Surface area is 4 pi r square. But they have not given radius, they have given diameter. So diameter is 2.4 meters. So therefore what will be the radius? So the radius is going to be 1.2 meters. So 4 pi r square, r is going to be 1.2 the whole square. So that is going to be your, when you simplify this, you get 1.447 into 10 to the power of minus 3 coulomb. When you simplify this, you will get this answer. So this is the charge, total charge present on the surface of the conductor. And now the sub question B is what? What is the total flux leaving the surface of the sphere? So total flux, we know it's 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge. Net flux is 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge present within the closed surface directly, right? So what do we get? It is 1.447 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay, so upon simplification we will get it as 1.63 into 10 to the power of 8 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, so that is our answer for sub question B. Alright, so now we will move on to the next question, question number 1.23. 1.23. So the question number 1.23 says that an infinite line charge produces an electric field of 9 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton per coulomb at a distance of 2 centimeter. Calculate the linear charge density. Now we already know if we have a very long wire carrying a charge, okay, very long wire carrying a charge, linear charge density lambda, the electrical field at a distance r from this wire is given by, at a distance r, the electrical field formula is what? Lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught into r. Okay, so that's the formula for electric field due to a line charge. Okay, and now if you want to simplify this further, we can also write this as 2 lambda k by r. How? Multiply and divided by 2. So 2 lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into r. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught will be k. So k 2 lambda by r. So this is easy to remember. Okay, so now what are the given things? The given thing is that electrical field is given, so it is 9 into 10 to the power of 4 is equals to 2 into lambda, we don't know, keep as it is, but k is 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into lambda divided by, at what distance they have told this electric field is, yeah, it's 2 centimeter, right? So the distance at which the electric field is 9 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton per coulomb is 2 centimeter. So centimeter convert into meter, so 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 meters. So now the lambda will be 9 into 10 to the power of 4 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 whole divided by 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 again. Actually I could have cancelled 9 2 2 here, 9 here, that is 9 will get cancelled, 2 will get cancelled, and this will become 10 power 4 in the 10 power 4 and 10 to the power of minus 2 is just 10 power 2. 10 power 2 will get cancelled with this 10 power 9, that means 10 power 7 will remain in the denominator, so that goes to numerator. 10 power minus 7 Newton Coulomb per meter. 10 power minus 7 Coulomb per meter is what we get, because it is charge per unit length, so unit is going to be Coulomb per meter, right? So that's the answer for this question. You may also write this as I can write it as, in terms of microcoulomb, if I want to write, I can write it as 10 power minus 1 into 10 power minus 6 Coulomb per meter. Okay, we would get it as 10 power minus 1 micro Coulomb per meter. Alright, so now we will move on to next question. I guess many of the solutions given in the internet is wrong, so this is correct answer. Okay, right, so now we will move on to next question, question number 1.24. It says that two large thin metal plates are parallel and close to each other. On their inner faces, the plates have surface charge density of opposite signs, and the magnitude is given as 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22 Coulomb per meter square. What is electric field in the outer region of the first plate, in the outer region of the second plate, and in between the plates? Okay, so this is somewhat similar to capacitor. Okay, so you will learn about capacitor in the next chapter. So here you have two plates. So here you have a positive charge, and here you have a negative charge. Okay, how much is the surface charge density on both the plates? The surface charge density is 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22 Coulomb per meter square. Now they're asking how much is the electric field here, how much is the electric field here, and how much is the electric field here. Now it's easy to understand. We have already got an expression for electrical field due to a thin sheet of charge, which is electrical field due to a thin sheet of charge is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So at this point, the electrical field due to positive charge will be to the left, and at the same point the electrical field due to negative charge plate will be to the right. So both will be equal, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is also sigma by 2 epsilon naught, because they carry equal surface charge density, so they will cancel out each other. So that means outside the first plate, this is my first plate and this is my second plate, so electrical field here will be 0. Similarly, you take a point here. At this point, the electrical field due to this positively charged plate will be to the right, sigma by 2 epsilon naught, and at the same point the electrical field due to this negatively charged plate will be to the left, and that is also sigma by 2 epsilon naught, right? So therefore, if you look here also, the electrical field is becoming 0. Now if you take a point in between, here, the electrical field due to positively charged plate will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught to the right, and at the same point the electrical field due to this negatively charged plate is also to the right, which is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So therefore the net electrical field between these two plates is going to be 2 times sigma by 2 epsilon naught, because both are in the same direction. No, both the electrical fields are in the same direction, they will get added up. So now we will get sigma by epsilon naught as the electrical field, and sigma is known to us, which is 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22 divided by epsilon naught value is 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay, so upon simplification we will get 1.92 into 10 to the power of minus 10 Newton per Coulomb. So that is going to be the electrical field between the plate. Okay, outside the plates, electrical field 0 everywhere. Between the plate, the electrical field is going to be this much. Okay, all right. So now we have completed all the exercise questions. Now additional exercise questions I'm not solving now. If you want me to solve, you can put that in the comment box, and then later on I will do. First I wanted to cover the exercise questions and move on to the next chapters. So all the concepts will be first covered, the theory part and then the exercise part. Additional exercise, again, if you want, you let me know in the comment box. We will also do that. All right, so thank you all. In the next video we will start the new chapter. So till then, have a happy learning. Thank you all. Bye bye.